Spurs Bros, welcome back. Episode 6 on the Spurs Bros podcast. Once again, we've got a full house. Today, we're going to recap in the last 4 games of the week. Spurs went 2-2 since we spoke to you guys last. Going to go over Mitch Johnson's performance over that stretch. Pop, get well soon. We're going to see if we owe apologies to any of our Spurs players from some of our preseason takes. Malachi Branham, I'm looking at you, buddy. Our next 4 games is going to have 2 games for the Emirates NBA Cup. We're going to preview the next 4, see how we think we're going to do until our next episode next week. And then we're going to get a little bit of a deep dive to end the episode talking about our potential 4 first-round picks in a stacked draft class. Can the Spurs land Cooper Flag? Tune in, check it out. Follow us on Instagram at Spurs Bros Podcast. We're on YouTube with video for the full episode, Spurs Bros Podcast there as well. And then head over to Twitter, Spurs Twitter. Check us out at Spurs Bros Pod. Give us a like, give us a follow. Let us know what you want to hear. We're here for the people. We are Spurs Bros for Spurs Bros. So let's get into this episode. Lot to cover.
All righty, Spurs Bros gang, welcome back to another podcast. This is episode 6. I am your host, Alec Bogus. These are my co-hosts, Reagan Keough, Stuart Lynch, and Tim Mendez. Episode 6, we made it. We made it past
6
5.
weeks. Yes, sir.
So, Spurs Bros, since the last time we talked, we were 3-4, and now, as of November 12th, we are 5-6. It took us 30 games last year to reach our 5th win, and this year it took us 11. So I think that deserves a round of applause. Seriously,
Go
I know that
Spurs,
sounds,
go.
yeah, no,
What was
actually, I
it?
think
18 L's in a row last year, 17 L's, something like that.
yes, I think that's what it was. It was a franchise record, right, Tim?
Oh yeah, maybe not by far, but if you recall, Detroit lost what, like
Yeah,
26, 27.
Yeah, they
Right.
overshadowed
I saw
us.
the Pistons when the Pistons won their third game. It was like last year. It took till December 30th for the Pistons to win
Oh
their third game. I was
God.
like, holy hell, imagine.
gosh,
But yeah, so a little tweet came out about us and the Pistons. That was cool. We're
yeah,
improving.
we're improving. No, that's an actual improvement.
Progress,
I
baby.
I want to clip this in hopefully 2 or 3 years, and when we're hopefully
Yeah,
starting off 5-0,
like
6-0,
we won
7-0.
5 games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it'd be kind of cool to document. But we are 12th place in the Western Conference, I believe, as of today, which looks pretty bad. But if you compare it to the Eastern Conference, we would actually be the 4th seed right now, which is staggering. So context is key here.
it's a
That's
bit
East is
deceiving though. A lot
terrible.
of injuries in the East. Yeah,
Yeah,
still,
they're also just terrible though, dude. They only have 2 teams over 500 in the East. Nuts.
yeah.
It's nuts. Sixers are still 2-8. The Bucks are still 3-8. It's bad over there.
Yeah, it is bad. In our last 4 games, since we talked last, we went 2-2. I think we had on this podcast, Stu was he was optimistic again, and he said we are going to go 4-0.
Me
Same
too.
never
same with
again.
Reagan. Um,
Never again.
yeah, I know. You're learning something here. And Tim and I think we were 3-1, maybe 2-2,
Yeah,
3-1. Yeah. And we ended up going 2-2. Like I said, we should have been 3-1. But
should have
we
been.
we lost to the Jazz. That was a winnable game for sure. Any sort of high level thoughts from the last 4 games from either Houston or the Blazers, Jazz, or in our most recent win against the Kings? Anything top of mind before we kind of dive into the details?
Well, yeah, a little bit on the Houston game. I'll start there. It was the first of the 4 games since we recorded last. I went and watched it at Cosm, which was a pretty cool experience.
Mhm.
Felt like I was kind of front row. I flipped between half court and baseline view. So, Wimby finishing, it looked like he was 10 feet away.
Nothing like getting a front
Wow.
row seat to watch Jack Collins. Woo!
Yeah. Oh God, it was
I
so
remember your
bad.
text from that night.
The whole group I was with was like, who is this guy? Why is he on the court? Terrible. He couldn't execute a dribble handoff. It was so bad. But I think that was the first night without Jeremy. Terrible decision making, no ability to make open shots, contested shots, open floor transition turnovers, no communication. Everybody was out of sorts. Trey Jones not there. I mean, it was ugly in
Yeah.
Houston. And I think we all kind of expected that to be the toughest or a pretty tough test. And proved that way, but got back home for the homestand and things have looked a bit better since then. But I think that was maybe our worst game of the year so far. We
Mhm.
got blown out. It was never close.
I would agree with that. Yeah, that was definitely the worst game of the year. I hate to sound like a sore loser, but when we're playing like that and losing by that many points, I kind of just change the channel and stop watching. So I missed most of the second half. Final score indicates it didn't get much better, but yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say on that game.
Guys were betting on the overs in like on a per quarter basis. And it was
Oh
not even
gosh.
close. There was not a single over in play the whole night. It was tough.
Yeah, Mitch Johnson, I was like Tim, I turned it off after the fourth quarter, but one of the things that Mitch Johnson, who has been our interim head coach, for those who don't know, Pop has been sidelined. We still don't know what happened to him. We think it's something pretty bad, but
Don't want to speculate though. I hope
yeah,
he's
don't.
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't want exactly. We don't want to speculate, but either way, Mitch Johnson has been brought in as an interim coach, and what he said after that loss was, first thing he said, it was physicality. Again, something we've touched on this podcast already. It's just this constant theme. It must be a youth thing that these guys, these little kids, are still trying to grow up into men, and we just don't know how to be physical and push back and
OKC's not
initiate
older than
conversation.
us, and they're pretty damn
Yeah, they're
physical. Number
physical
one
as
in
That
the
hell.
league.
that's
I'd
true.
I'd say the Rockets are way more physical than us. They're just as young.
That's a good point,
So
man.
I
So
I don't
why?
know about if it's the little boy thing that you're saying. I don't know.
That's
Coaching is
that's
it?
It's a great
Yeah,
point.
mental.
Yeah,
I,
player
I
personnel.
mean,
I'd say
our
we can't be blaming the youth anymore for that. That's just
yeah.
heart. That's wanting it more. That's what they're hearing day in and day out.
Huh.
Our two most physical guys are Jeremy Sochan, he's injured, and
Yep.
unfortunately, Zach Collins is probably number two on that list, and he's
That
not
is
a
a fact.
capable basketball player. So, yeah, we gotta find that from somewhere else.
Yeah. So I was thinking about people that we've talked about, players that we've talked about earlier in the podcast, that maybe deserve an apology, that maybe we spoke too soon on because it was the preseason. And one of those for me was going to be Malachi Branham. But one who doesn't deserve an apology so far is still Zach Collins. He is the Spurs are plus 17 when Zach Collins is on the bench, and they are -4 when he's on the floor. So that's again through I think 10, 11 games. And yeah, I mean, Reagan, you saw literally front row as to why that is. He can't execute a dribble handoff. All the things that we know. So yeah, man, yeah, physicality. He also mentioned just attention to detail and just better game plan execution as to why we suck so bad in Houston.
If you're looking for an apology for anybody, I know I was pretty hard on Blake Wesley coming into the year. I think I was hard on Branham
Yeah.
episode two.
Yeah,
Um, he's been all right, but I still don't see where this big year three leap has been.
Yeah, I
I think
wouldn't
he's pretty
say.
much the same player. So
Yeah, I don't think he's taken some massive leap like you're saying, Alec. We owe him an apology. I don't know about that. He kind of just looks the same from last year. Still didn't step up on defense when we needed him to in a big moment in the Rockets game. Just kind of doing the same old thing. He's good on offense. We already knew that though. But he's
right.
not really separating himself from anyone else.
picked up an ankle injury, which is
Yeah.
tough
Yeah, that's tough.
to get
But
his rhythm going. But yeah, from the time that he was playing, I don't see a big progression from last year, honestly. Blake Wesley is still fast as hell. I was rewatching highlights earlier tonight just from the last couple of games, and he's so quick, open court with the ball. It's pretty impressive. I feel like
Mhm.
Wesley's vision has gotten a bit better, getting a little bit more under control, using that speed to find dump offs and wrap around passes under the rim, laying it off to Zach, laying it off to Jeremy, laying it off to these guys, but finding a kick out in the corner. So that's improved, but yeah, I think both of them, it's incremental. It's not the big year three jump you would want to see, at least for me.
Mm. Tim, do you have any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I really like and appreciate how hard Blake plays. He tries his ass off on defense, which, rookie year he looked lost on the defensive end. Um, but once Trey comes back, you know, he's not as fast or athletic as Blake, but he does the facilitating, the defense, the all of that stuff just better than Blake. And, Blake can't really shoot the ball. So between Malachi and Blake, I think Malachi like kind of deserves to be out there more because at least he can score and give us another scoring option. That ankle injury was unfortunate timing because it looked like he was starting to find his way a little bit. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't keep him out for too long because I think he can be a 15-minute guy off the bench, 15, 20 minutes to, average around 10 points a game, I guess.
Yeah,
On
it's
this
that
team, sure.
right.
Yeah. And not
Well,
on a playoff team right now. He's got a long way to go to become a 20-minute guy for a playoff contender.
for me, it was the fact. Well, number one, we could. You're like, I don't know the difference between Malachi Branham and Malachi Flynn. That's what that's what you said on, I think, on the
Well,
first or
the
second
whole thing
podcast.
was Flynn had a 50 burger last
I
year.
know, I know. But then I was
But
watching Malachi Branham against the Blazers. He had 17 points in 22 minutes. Tim, like you said, it looked like he was starting to kind of come into his own. And without Devin being there as well, having an actual scoring option on the team, it looked like Devin Malachi, he's got that 3 level scoring thing down. He can, back cut, he can get fouled, he's a great free throw shooter, he's streaky, right? So he'll when he hits, he's on, and he's got that pull up jumper. So it's like I like to see that. And it was really tough to just deal without Devin for so long. And then Wemby trying to shoot 25 threes a game. And he finally turned it around, by the way, preview. But during that time, I was just pissed. And then seeing Malachi, I was like, thank goodness. Like he that looks smooth. That looks like a real score that I would like to have consistently out there. So that was the only thing I was thinking. Going on to Mitch Johnson, though. Speaking of Mitch Johnson, what do we think about him so far? I mean, we've had him. He's 3-3 so far. Is his actual record? How are we rating him? Do you have any A, B, C, D's? Are we think he's doing an okay job?
I give him a solid B. I think, coming from the assistant spot, he's a little bit more players coach, right? A bit younger, different personality, but I think he's intense. I think he's still pretty demanding. What I've liked in the last 2 games particularly has been more of the shift to open it up shooting wise. He's letting these guys, I think more people have a green light more often. We're shooting more threes, we're making more threes, we've scored more as a result of it. Spurs Twitter kind of lit up last night from the amount of 3-pointers we hit. We tied a franchise record for made threes in the regular season game. So
Mm.
I think that's the one shift that he's made. Pop, is embracing the three as much as he can, but still move the ball, cut, find open layups, take good shots at all costs, kind of thing. I think Mitch is letting guys shoot it where they're even a sliver open, and they're going down. So that's the one thing that I've noticed that we've changed in our game plan a little bit is letting that three ball fly a bit more, which I like. It's worked so far.
We talked about it a little bit in our group text. He's drawn up some nice plays after timeouts, really smart plays that, yeah, defense isn't even expecting. He's still learning on the fly. I think he's been a little cautious to, maybe use the challenges. He doesn't want to burn one too quick. And you kind of saw Chris Paul last night begging for the challenge like a couple of times. So
Yeah.
gotta learn to take charge a little bit more in that area. But no, I like what I've seen from him.
Yeah.
I'd say a solid B as well. Tim, you made a great point because I remember texting on Saturday night to you guys when he finally did use the challenge at the end, and it was a lost challenge. It wasn't even that close, but it was like, oh, you might as well use it right now. And there were a couple plays in the third and fourth where it clearly would have been our ball. And I remember Sean even saying something on the TV, and he said, like, oh, you should have used his challenge right now. It's basically a guarantee win, and I don't know why you wouldn't, because if you win the first one, you get that second one again. So definitely waited too long. Yeah, he's not pulling the trigger on that. I feel like he's, maybe a little scared to be wrong or do something, but
Right.
just got to feel it's his team now until Pop's back. He's got to, act that way and, do what he feels. But yeah, Tim, you said he's doing great out of timeouts. He's had a couple good plays. So just doing stuff a little different than Pop would do. I feel like sometimes Pop got a little predictable. We'd always know that
Yeah.
back out of a timeout, what play's coming, where it'd be the back screen on the opposite side and jumping out of bounds, making that
hammer
pass.
play.
So,
Yeah.
it's the one that we historically now everyone around the league uses it. But yeah, so Mitch is doing some stuff they haven't seen before, and it's working. And just maybe a little more aggressiveness, and that'd be good.
Yeah, the
Totally.
one concept that Alec pointed out, said, "Hey, clip that." Coming out of the timeout, Chris Paul. It was a really cool concept because the Blazers were switching any high pick and roll. Chris Paul getting a screen set from Castle, and Jeremy Grant is playing Chris Paul on the ball. Castle comes up, sets that screen kind of underneath instead
Yeah,
of on the side. Traditionally, he
right.
sets that screen underneath and then
So
just
then
pins
Grant was
Jeremy
on the
Grant
high
on his
side.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get the entrance pass to Wemby on the
Yep.
elbow. As soon as he catches it, Castle's got Jeremy Grant up on the three-point line on top of him. And as soon as that ball's caught by Wemby, it's just an easy backdoor bounce pass, layup. Really cool concept, noticing how
Yes.
they're playing those screen and rolls and telling them, hey, go set that screen underneath. Don't
Yeah.
even worry about getting CP3 open. Just go get there, seal it. And as soon as the entry pass goes, we're going to trust Wemby to see that pass, make that pass, and open layup. Easiest 2 points of the game. It was pretty
Perfect.
nice.
It was perfect. Yeah, perfect little dump down. Didn't have to do too much. And you're right. Yeah. And then I like using Stephon Castle, 6'6", big body, set a hard screen, keep him sealed off. It was perfect. But you just saying that right now brought me back to the beautiful game Spurs, where we would literally, our quick hitter out of timeout, or even late in the game, was Tim Duncan would catch the ball sort of around the same area.
Tony would do
Wemby
that
catch.
little
Yeah,
backdoor. Yeah.
Tony would set that screen right here, and he just catch it like this, and he just turn the layup on the left side or
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I vividly remember that we'd run that a lot in big time
Yep.
situations. So almost a little bit of the same kind of thing, but that's reminded me of that. That's really cool. Um, yeah, no, I think he's done a good job as well. I'd probably give him a B as well. I like that he's talked about, again, turnovers is a big thing. I mean, we've averaged 16.1 turnovers a game through the first 11 games this year. Wemby's leading the team in turnovers with 3.6 per game. It's pretty high.
That number's high, dude. The 16.1 is high. He'd like to see that get down to,
Yeah.
13 or so would be a big market improvement. I don't know what that ranks in the league, but I know 16 is high, and historically the kind of elite teams are somewhere around 12 turnovers per game. So I don't know if that's really possible anymore, as many possessions as there are on the NBA, as much as it's sped up. But yeah, 16 is still a pretty high number. I'd like to see us get closer to 14 over the next month or so. That'd be nice to see.
Yeah. So again, I like that he's mentioned that and talked about that. That's cool. We'll see how he does going through the next 10 or 11 games. So I wanted to transition into the wins that we got. We won against the Blazers and against the Kings, but in between then, we did get somebody back, the Spurs roster, aka Devin Vassell. So I wanted to
Devin.
I wanted to maybe issue an
Can,
apology from the Spurs
can I ask
bros.
you guys, did Devin start that game or did he come off the bench?
I don't want to
He
answer.
came off the bench,
Any
Stuart.
answers?
He came off the bench.
For those who don't know,
Uh,
yes, Stewart's the
the,
one who brought up this whole,
the
which is a great. I like it. I like these interesting concept ideas of, hey, why don't we just bring Devin off the bench? It'd be a great idea.
We all called him
the
crazy.
We all
the
called him
sweet
crazy.
taste of victory being right. We talked about a little more in depth as well. I guess it's crazy if it happens all season. We'll see how that goes on. But historically, the Spurs always bringing someone back from injury. We always kind of don't put them in that starting group, even if they're a starter. Let them ease their way back in. He's still on a minute restriction. So we'll see in a month or so if he still is coming off the bench. But, man, it was just such a great feeling seeing the starters that night and seeing he was coming off the bench. And he did it again in game 2. I'm just starting to think our followers, our listeners are going to think we have an insight or something because we're just calling it. We've had every pod. We are calling something right. Yeah, it's crazy.
Hashtag Stu knows ball.
Stu knows ball.
You were right,
So
Stu. You were
Julian
right.
hasn't been playing as well. He's down to averaging 9 a game over these last 2 games since Devin's been back. But the difference is we have Devin. He's coming off in his first 2 games back. He's averaging 16. I don't think Julian will be averaging 16 off the bench consistently. So I think I still have my point by saying having Keldon off the bench, having Devin off the bench, it's 2 scores right there instead of just hoping and praying that Keldon will have 25 a game. Instead, we have Devin coming off the bench. He's by far our best all-around scorer on the team. And, it's still been hectic. We don't have Trey back yet. So once he's back, he'll be controlling a little more on the offensive side. So, yeah, I still like it. We're 1-1 with him back. We should be 2-0. But, yeah, Devin had 21 in one game, and I think he had 13 in the next. And Julian had like 5 and 11. So he's still shooting. He's missing. He had a lot of open shots still. So if that's happening, if he's hitting shots, then I don't see any reason why we should bring Devin back into the starting lineup.
So what was funny is I was laughing because it did feel right. It did feel in a
Yeah,
sense, right? You know what I'm saying? Like
right
having
away.
a real stud scorer. It brought me back to the Manu days, of course. Guy who could just
Yes.
actually come in, get a bucket, turn on the engine for the backup group if the starters weren't playing well. Or just keep him in at the end of the game, as we did with Manu. It's like it makes a lot of sense.
And the thing with us with Wimby is he has such weird minutes. Like a lot of stars around the
Right.
league. I don't know if you guys noticed, but they like either play the whole first quarter or like the first 7 minutes of the quarter, and then sit right and then play the whole second. But Wimby, because we always talk about his conditioning and stuff, Wimby's out of the game. We get freaking Zach, old boy Zach's in 7 minutes into the
Yeah.
first quarter or whatever,
Yeah,
and then
6 minutes.
Wimby comes
Yeah.
back in the last like minute of the quarter, and so it's as long as Devin doesn't take it personally, oh God, I'm not starting NBA anymore, he'll be in within 6, 7 minutes. Anyone who's been watching, we play 10 guys by the end of the first quarter. We're the only team who's doing that. We have a deep roster who we're playing, and like I said, as long as he doesn't take it personal, he can be that guy. Just freaking wait 6 minutes to sub into the game, bro.
I think it's important what you said too about Trey Jones coming back because until that happens, all the more reason for us to be comfortable with Devin coming off the bench because we
Yeah,
don't have that floor general in the backup point guard spot to run things and set guys up. And having the creative ability of Devin Vassell in that bench group, I think is more important until Trey Jones comes back. Trey Jones comes back, maybe we can get that flip back in there. Devin's got his sea legs under him. He's back in the starting lineup. Champagnie can still find some open looks with Trey Jones running the floor. Devin can still have that overlap like we talked about a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I think even more important is while Trey Jones is out, I'm gonna have to get comfortable with Vassell being a bench guy for another week or two until however long Trey Jones is back. So
I agree with that while Trey is out. Yeah, maybe keep Devin coming off the bench. But ideally, when everyone's healthy, yeah, I do still think he should be a starter. It's not necessarily 5 in, 5 out. We talked about it, minutes overlap. And unless you want to bring him off the bench and somehow still get him to 32 minutes a game, but he should be getting those low 30 minutes every game. I'm of the opinion that you just want your best guys out there starting five. So yeah, we'll see what happens when we get back to hopefully full health and Devin's minutes ramp up.
yeah.
Yeah,
Let's just talk about. We haven't even seen the full team yet. Think about how good Jeremy was playing before he
I
got
know.
hurt.
yeah,
We've only had one game with Trey. Devin just got back. Man, it's kind of
Brandon's out.
yeah. Malachi's not going to play, but man, it's exciting stuff. Our young guys started out good. Sucks that we have the injury bug right now, but I
Yeah.
would. What is it by Christmas? We're hoping early January to have Jeremy back. But yeah, let's make a run at it.
Yeah, it was exciting. I think that's what also the Spurs group preseason training camp were just kept on talking about. There was a confidence, a little bit of an aura behind it. And I mean, it makes sense. I think that they believed, and I think I believe. I mean, seeing little pieces, these little mosaic pieces sort of starting to come together, what could be at least for our squad. I think it's not hard to see that, right? With everybody healthy, man, that would be an awesome five. Anything on the Kings win and our most recent win against the Kings?
Harrison Barnes revenge game.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes had a good game. I was playing that up, obviously. That's not the most important
I
headline
wasn't
there.
expecting a 30 bomb by any means, but
No.
Yeah.
you could
No,
tell he was being
I
aggressive to
wasn't
start.
either. Yeah, it was cool seeing Doug McDermott though and DeMar DeRozan,
Mhm.
seeing the guys that they overlapped with and talking less during the
Lyles.
game. Yeah,
Trey
yeah, Trey
Lyles,
Lyles,
Yeah, I was
man.
like, man, this is old Spurs right here.
Yeah, for real. So I don't know. It was a good game. We built a lead early and we kept it. I think that was the most important thing is that we were up 15,
right?
18, 20 points. I think it got back down to about 10, but that was the extent of the Kings push. De'Aaron Fox was going nuts there for a second, but we were answering with good buckets, controlled offense, and didn't let them get back down to single digits or close enough to really threaten losing that game. And seeing how we've blown some leads against the Clippers, against the Rockets earlier in the year already, that was a nice change of pace for us against a playoff team, a veteran team, a team that has real aspirations of competing in the Western Conference.
We had 7 guys in double figures yesterday. Would have been 8. Mamu had 9 points. Mamu, though, my gosh, speaking of a guy who really came in and he helped close the game out. I mean, he helped seal the deal. He had two big threes in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter. I think
Did you guys see
one,
his post game interview? Like while he's still on the
Yeah,
floor?
no,
guys
That
no.
love
was
him.
good stuff. Oh yeah, he's a locker room guy.
Let's
He,
go.
he couldn't even answer the first question because everyone was just coming up, jumping on him behind him and stuff. And then all he did was praise the boys. Said, "I'm free to shoot." They tell me whenever you're on the floor, shoot it. Don't worry about it. Like I just have full confidence in myself, and yeah, it was great to see.
When he was in Milwaukee before we picked him up, they cut him. I didn't know much about his game. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And like the official Bucks Twitter announced that they waived him. And there were so many Bucks fans who were devastated because, yeah, he's just that locker room guy who all the
Mm.
guys love. And now we can see why.
I bet the Bucks would have rather let Thanasis go
Yeah,
and
yeah.
get Mamu.
Yeah, I,
Gosh.
I doubt he's some big locker room guy. I don't think anyone
Yeah.
really likes him.
It was funny. Somebody was like, "Man, look what happens when the Bucks let go of Thanasis. They're 3-8 or whatever they are." And maybe that's more of a product of Mamu being gone than it is
That's
Thanasis.
funny. If we're talking last night though, and Saturday night, we just got to admit one thing we have been wrong about every week now is Wimby's not going to start inside and work his way out. That's just not how he's going to play.
Uh,
He's hitting them these last two games 50%. Yeah, that's crazy. I think it was what 5 for 10 and 6 for 12. If he's
yep.
doing that consistently, my goodness,
He had
we
six
have
threes in back-to-back
something.
games.
Back-to-back games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So we got something crazy on our hands, and if he's doing that consistently, but yeah, we just have to. We're gonna have to accept the fact, boys. He's not gonna start inside. He might get 8-10 points a game inside, but we gotta hope that his jumper's falling.
And so here's the thing. I knew he's got a good looking shot. I mean, and he's smooth. We've
Smooth.
seen him do it
Yeah.
before. We've seen him hit 3-4 threes in a game before last year. So like I knew that was there. And so I didn't know if he was just like, I'm just gonna keep putting it up because as soon, eventually to go win. He said after one game, he's like, well, it's not that I'm taking more threes, I'm just taking better looking threes, better shots, better shot selection from three. But I was always, again, knowing that in the back of my head, but not really fully understanding of like, it's really frustrating to see in person him shoot 12 threes and only make three. And it just looked like he's just taking bad looking shots. But he quoted after one game back on November 8th, he said, there's no frustration as far as his shooting woes were. There's no frustration because I know the staff and I are developing in the right way. So I'm taking the shots I want to include in my development. What matters today is the intention for a longer term goal. So yeah, make or miss, the boy is shooting them.
He's
the
gonna be
most
pulling.
patient 20-year-old on the planet,
I
dude.
love that.
The vision that he's got and the willingness to work through this stuff is really, really impressive. And we're sitting here, Spurs bros, fans everywhere, like, dude, what the hell are you doing? Go get inside, get in the paint. And then he comes back the game
Right.
after he said that and hits 6 of 9 threes.
Yes,
The man is just built different.
he is. It brings me back to, we're bringing up the Coach Bogus, my uncle, who always said, not too high, not too low. You never want to be too high, never be too low. Never overreact. Obviously, really early in the season, so that's easy to say. But I mean, he's Victor Wembanyama. He's the alien. So everyone's probably talking about him. You had a lot of people who were hating on him already. You had Brick Center, showing clips, low lights of him. You had people literally on podcasts saying, I don't know what he's doing. Why is he doing this? And they're unwatchable right now. Tune it all out. So I like that about him. You're right.
The most bonkers stat about these last two games that I saw is so against the Jazz, he hit 6 threes and had 7 blocks. Against the Kings, he hit 6 threes and had 3 blocks. He is the first player, and I feel like we hear this all the time. He
Yeah.
sets some new crazy stat line, but he is the first player in NBA history to have at least 10 3-pointers and 10 blocks in a 2-game span.
Wow.
He had 12 threes and 10 blocks in the last 2
Interesting.
games. Yeah, I mean, think about the most elite shot blockers you've ever seen. Are they going to hit 12 threes, much less 10 threes
Yeah.
in 2 games? No. So we've seen these last 2 games the potential what he can do when those shots are falling. That final stat line against the Kings, 34 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, and 3 blocks. That was on 13 of 22 shooting and 6 of 12 from the 3-point line. That's
That's a monster.
Alien. That's all there is to say about it.
Oh my
So
gosh. That's
gotta live with it, Stu. Like you said, gotta get used to it. Gotta live with it.
Yeah.
They
And that's on
fall.
Sabonis. I don't know. Is Sabonis supposed to be a great defender? I know he's obviously
No,
strong, but no.
he,
Okay.
he's a strong dude. Good footwork. Throws his elbows
Yeah,
around,
Wimby wasn't going
maneuvers
to be
around the
bodying
rim,
him
but
down low anyway, so good thing the three
no,
was falling. He wasn't going to do
no.
shit down low.
And some of the stuff that I've seen with Wimby too is we've been getting him on that elbow again. But a couple of things that I noticed, particularly against the Jazz game, he had one really nice. He caught, faced, immediate pivot right, one dribble, spin move, finished left.
Mhm.
He went by Markkinen and finished over Kessler. When he can get to those moves
Yeah.
right off the catch, a quick assessment of where he's at and go without letting that defense get low, get set, get the right position when they're stronger than him. He's had more success that way. So if he can
Hmm.
continue to make that, processing be quick,
Yes.
face up, go right away. That looked like it was a lot more effective for him the last stretch of games too. So
Great
he's
point.
getting it. I think as the conditioning comes, it all comes back to that. It's conditioning. He gets his legs under him, taking better threes, being more aggressive, all that stuff.
Another person, so I know we talked about, Jeremy and Trey being out and what could be and all the things that we are excited about, but we're also sort of bummed because we don't get to see it right now. Sort of the silver lining and all that is that Stephon has moved to the starting lineup in that time span, and he's been pretty damn great. His last 3 games as a starter, he's averaged 15.6 points per game, 3 rebounds a game, 5 assists a game, shooting 48% and 33% from 3-point land, which is on 5 3-point attempts. It's been cool. Again, it's a silver lining because I think Stephon, he's stoic, he's humble, he wants to come in and he wants to do all the little things right. I'm going to play defense hard, but I'm sure he was probably a little bit nervous to assert himself. But now that he has a chance and he's actually, he's starting, he has not only he's being probably asked to do more. So I think it's really cool to see him adopt more of a confident mindset. I mean, in the NBA, remember Coach Click, Reagan, he used to talk about this a lot, which is like when you get to a certain level, it's not even about like the talent anymore. It's just all up here. It's just all up
Yeah,
here. Like that is literally
yeah,
the difference between guys who are, G League and stars and studs. I mean, there's some obviously variation for superstars, but like for a lot of the time, it's just like confidence and just like believing in that. And so I think it's really cool to see him coming to that confidence being as a starter. So kudos to Stephon. Anything on him?
Yeah, he's taking these starter minutes and running with them, and I don't think he wants to give the spot back. He's so confident,
Not to
and
Devin.
they ask, Pop and then Mitch Johnson and the vets, Chris Paul and Harrison Barnes, about his demeanor and how he approaches every day, and they all say the same thing. So he clearly has it up here mentally. The defense is great to see on when he's guarding these. It seems like every team has a great like elite guard. Last night it was Fox, and he's not. One of his knocks coming into the draft was his 3-point shot, but he's not turning them down. He's still taking them. That Utah game Saturday night, he just bang, 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 knocks three of
Yeah.
them like in the first 4 minutes, and
from deep.
deep. Two of them were, yeah, deep threes. Obviously, the slow step, the pace at the rim that we've talked about. I remember, Stu, me and you watching that first Summer League game, texting about it. It was just apparent, like, just from that first Summer
Yeah.
League. Granted, that's against, like, G League guys, but yeah, he just has this great veteran
Yeah,
rep.
you don't see rookies doing what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Smart,
That,
making plays, drawing fouls, the way he's doing it, the way he's finishing around the rim. It's really incredible. It's good to see.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
I
think I
think you
texted
see
it
rookies
earlier.
put up the stats that he's putting up, but not as meaningful, like
Right.
the stats that he's putting in, his contributions, I keep saying contributing, but contributing towards winning
Yes.
is instead of, other guys that are just trying to go out there, get some buckets and make their stats look good, and it could be empty on a really bad team. He's trying to make an impact that
Right.
Yep.
goes towards a
And
W and progression on the team.
we've heard it our whole lives, all of us have. Make it, coach tells you, make it to where I can't pull you off the floor, take you off the field, whatever. Do
Yeah.
what you have to do, and he'll do all those things. Not about him putting up 20. He'll happily make the extra pass. He'll happily dive on the floor. Be that defender to where at the end of the game, we've already seen it multiple times this season. End of the game, we have a rookie guarding their best guard
Yes.
because he's our best perimeter defender. So yeah, make it to where you can't take him off the floor, and he's doing that so far.
I think we all nailed that take. I think that's so true. Is there anybody that y'all been keeping up with? Any other rookie other than Steph that is starting to maybe turn the corner as well on their rookie campaigns, or is Stephon starting to look pretty good right now? I mean, again, only 11 games in, but anybody else that stood out?
I think
Zach
Dalton
Edey's been up and
Connect.
down.
Oh yeah, I think
Connect,
Connect has
yeah,
been doing good
Oh
for the
yeah.
Lakers. Yeah, because
he's been
obviously they're on
scoring.
national TV all the time. Yeah, and he's getting much open looks because of Braun and AG. And they're now everyone knew from the draft he was the best. He was the most NBA ready guy. They stole him at 16 or whatever it was. So he's
Well,
doing
Yeah,
good. But
and
when you have
because
Braun and freaking AD alongside you, yeah, you're gonna not get much attention. So you'll get wide open shots.
and he's
right,
what, 22, 23. That was a whole
yeah,
Yeah,
knock on him, of course, but like no
yeah,
shit, he's the most NBA ready guy. Like he played four
yeah.
years of high level basketball at a powerhouse at Tennessee under Rick Barnes. Like of course he's the most NBA ready guy when you're comparing him to 19-year-olds, but at the same time, like Steph's playing really well. Zach Edey's had a couple of eye-popping stat lines too. Saw him walk into a three-pointer for Memphis too, which I'm like, is that real? Are they really letting him do that? And I think they are.
huh.
But a couple of really monster games for Edey, and then quiet otherwise too. So I haven't seen anybody really pop off. Risa Shea, the only thing that comes to my mind, we talked about it a week or two ago, was um, that clutch shot on the baseline that clanked off the side of the backboard.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what he's doing in Atlanta. Yeah, I don't have anything. Tim, I feel like
I
this is
got
kind of
a
your spot.
I got the rookie of the year odds pulled up. Going back to Connect though, did you say at Tennessee for 4 years? Did I hear you did I hear you say that?
I'm
Uh-oh.
wrong. Yep,
Uh-oh.
yep.
Tammy's talking
I
his
think he
shit.
was only there for his senior year. I just
Yeah,
wanted to
you're
Call
right.
him out, Tim. Call him
What
out.
was it, like
Yeah,
Middle
that was
Tennessee State or
unnecessary.
say
something?
sorry. Yeah, Edie, Risa Shea are the top two, and then the two
What?
Washington guys, Sar and Carrington, and then Stefan's five.
I'm
But
not paying
Sar
attention.
uh, popping off recently is Jared McCain. He's been looking pretty good. But once Maxey comes back and they're more healthy, I don't know how many minutes Jared McCain's going to get a night. But yeah, that's about it.
We did talk about Edie at the beginning of the season. I think our second or third pod before the season started, and we said he'll be getting a bunch of easy buckets playing beside Ja.
Yeah. 2 years of Northern Colorado for Dalton Connect. Yeah.
Um,
There you
Good,
go.
good call, Tim.
And you said Dalton Connect was where in that race? He was, or was he not in the top five?
Oh, I didn't say where. Let's see. He's like eighth, seventh, eighth.
Okay.
Best
Okay.
odds.
Well, there you go. So I was obviously it shows that I'm not really paying attention to anything else other than the Spurs. So
This is a Spurs podcast. Who gives a shit about the rest of these guys?
that's true. That's true. So
I still
next,
would love Stefan to win, but yes.
you never
We'll
know.
see. We'll
Yeah.
see. Yeah. Hey, if we start, if we're still hovering around 500, we're pushing for a play-in spot or whatever. I mean, the
And he's
Lakers,
still getting serious minutes. Yeah.
yeah, and he's averaging, what he's done over the last three games, almost 16 points, 3, 5, 48 from the field, 5 3-point attempts a game. If he keeps that up the rest of the season and we're ended up pushing for, the 9 seed, why not? Besides the Grizzlies with Edie and connect with the Lakers, like what other of these guys are really expected to be playing meaningful basketball in March, April?
Yeah, and have a good.
So
we
that could
weren't
go
playing
towards it.
meaningful basketball last year, and Wemby won. So
That's what I was about to say. We were pissed off.
yeah,
that
I don't know who we
That's
are to
fair.
talk like that, but
Yeah, yeah. This shows how dumb that I can be sometimes. Is I've got the memory of a goldfish when my whole thing last year was who gives a shit about the Thunder making the playoffs and pushing for the 1 seed.
It's all
Wemby's
relative.
the better player.
yeah.
So
Now who gives a shit about Risa Shea and Sar? They're on the worst team. Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
So
But
it is about empty stats. Rookie of the year. My bad. Pump it
No.
up, Steph.
yeah, well, but and if you had a couple of really good games in a nationally televised game, you got Shaq and Charles Barkley saying, "I like that kid." You can pump up the media attention a little bit too.
Yeah, if you can get Chuck to stop talking about the fat women in San Antonio and
Yeah.
actually talk about one of our guys, then that's a award worthy in itself.
We
Right.
got the Lakers Friday on ESPN, so it's a good
Come
time
on.
to step up against LeBron and AD.
Yes, sir.
NBA
Yes.
Cup.
Yep. So next 4 games, we've got the Wizards Lakers, Mavericks, then Thunder. And the first NBA Cup game is in between that, so against the Lakers, like you said. So NBA Cup, Reagan, do you want to go through that? Who's in our group and what that looks like?
Yeah, so when the NBA Emirates NBA Cup groupings dropped before the seasons came out, I think that we all felt it was a pretty tough group. Besides us, the other four teams are Oklahoma City Thunder, Los Angeles Lakers, Phoenix Suns, Utah Jazz. The makeup of that group has changed dramatically since the groupings came out, though. The Thunder are now down Chet Holmgren for 8 to 10 weeks. They still haven't gotten big man Hartenstein back yet, so their front court is suffering right now. That's a totally different looking team, although Shea went crazy last night.
Mm.
The Lakers, Anthony Davis is now dealing with a poke in the eye. His foot issue is still kind of in and out, causing him some pain, some trouble. KD for the Suns is going to miss a couple of weeks with a calf injury, and the Jazz blow. So it's kind of a wide open group right now, especially with these games coming in the next week or two while these teams are dealing with these injuries. So yeah,
Yeah, we might have
again,
got lucky timing for us.
maybe, yeah, make some
That'd be
noise.
nice.
That'd be fun.
Oh man.
First one, Lakers this Friday the 15th. Then we've got the Thunder next Tuesday, the 19th. Fast forward a week from there, we've got the Jazz on November 26th, and then the Suns December 3rd. So Suns might get KD back by the time that we play them. And they were playing fantastic basketball before Kevin Durant's injury. But as of now, this group is kind of open, boys. We might be able to make a little bit of noise, and who knows? What if we show up in Vegas?
Give
You know,
Mahmoud that 500,000, baby. Come on. He
yeah,
deserves that
dude.
500,000.
Hell yeah. And I don't think Adam Silver would hate the prospect of Wemby being in Las Vegas this year.
I like that. That'd be cool to see. I don't know why they do these. I mean, I don't know if this is like a soccer thing or what, but like, why are they doing NBA Cup games, separate from other regular season games? You know what I mean? Like the group play. Why don't they just do it all in a row?
That's a good question. I think this does follow a lot of the European soccer tournaments, though, and it's not all stacked up one by one. Probably for load management, avoid some injuries. Like we're talking about, KD's out for a couple of weeks. If they're all stacked up 4 games in a row and a main guy is out,
Yeah.
that's a tough timing thing. So spreading these games out over the course of 2 or 3 weeks can give teams a chance to have more of their guys available.
Okay.
Best
Yeah.
guess
Yeah.
for me.
I think that was the main thing too, to get more viewership early on in the season instead of
Yeah.
people just tuning in for playoffs, and to
Yeah.
make the players, have to play for something early on.
Right.
I think a good 5-6 year stretch, LeBron would just be fat chilling until March, April, then really
For
turn it
sure.
on. But yeah, then we saw last year gave it his all, and they went and won. So I
Yeah.
think just to make it more competitive early on in the season, get more
Yeah.
views.
So we've got 3 weeks of these group games basically, and then that 4 team tournament in Vegas will follow that up. So that's a solid month where viewership maybe hasn't been as high as front office of the NBA would like it to be. So spread it out a little bit, keep
Yep.
people involved, get those courts going back and forth.
Gotcha. So over the next 4 games, Wizards, Lakers, Mavericks, Thunder, any expectations? Should we just do another prediction? And by the way, before we answer that question, the Thunder game is on Tuesday at 8:30, I believe. So what do y'all want to do about that? Do y'all want to record maybe before or not before, maybe before, I guess,
During?
or do a late pod or during? Yeah, that's
We
fine.
do
I'm cool.
during, get some
Yeah,
live reactions on plays as we go.
cool. That works. So
That works.
record predictions. What do we got? Wizards, Lakers, Mavs, Thunder. Stu, to you? 4-0 again or what?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead, say it. Elephant in the room. First one of the season. I'm gonna go ahead and call it. The Wizards are an absolute must win. Must win tomorrow, or we aren't making playoffs. The season's done.
Oh,
Must win.
okay.
Must
Urgent.
win. And why? Because Friday we aren't winning at home. We aren't going to win. We saw how hard LeBron went last year in AD. They're trying to take it all serious, get 500K like it matters to them. But so we're not winning that. As Reagan mentioned, we are a little lucky right now. OKC is without Chet. Unfortunately for us, they're still a much better team than us, even without Chet. So that's an L. And then we have the Suns.
The
Getting a little
Mavs.
lucky again. Oh,
Mavericks. Mavericks.
Mavs. We're not beating the Mavs. Sorry, I'm in the tournament mode. Yeah, we're not beating the Mavs. They're a much better team than us. That's 1-3, and then let's just keep it going down the road. Yeah, we're not beating the Suns with or without KD. So we got a tough next 10 guys. I think freaking New York Knicks are in there. We're not beating them. We got a tough next schedule. We need to win every game that we are supposed to, and tomorrow's one of them. Absolute must win.
Wow. And the Mavericks, yeah, Lakers is a Friday night, Mavericks is Saturday night over there in Dallas. So that makes it a little tougher too. See, that is the Stu I know. That is
Yeah,
the
we lose
pessimist Stu that I
tomorrow.
know.
Y'all might not see me on the pod for months. The
Oh
season
my
is over.
Sheesh, that's a hot take. I mean, I agree that it's must win, but season's over, man.
Season's over.
This might be the toughest one for me so far. I could say 1-3. I could also ooh get a little crazy and say 3-1. So I'll go in the middle. I'll say 2-2. We win tomorrow. I think we can win the Lakers game Friday
Yeah.
night. I think it'll be awesome atmosphere. And then split the Dallas OKC games. I say we win.
So we're going 3-1.
Hold on. I don't know. We win one of those three. So we go 2-2.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, Lakers, Mavs, or Thunder. You say we win one of those. All right. Reagan?
I say we go 2-2. Take care of business against the Wizards. I think CP3 is going to be the difference maker for us on Friday against the Lakers.
Ooh.
Big game spot, cup game, home game, new court, LeBron, AD in the house. I think that's going to be a really cool atmosphere. And I've been on Chris Paul's ass for his whole career. Can't get out of the second round except for the one run with the Suns. So maybe not the biggest big game guy, but this is a regular season game. Can kind of calm our guys down, be that floor general. I think he probably plays heavy minutes. And the Mavericks game, which is not a cup game following that, is going to be the maybe his first rest game of the year. So I'm calling my shot with that one. So I say we beat the Wizards, beat the Lakers, take an L against the Mavericks and the Thunder. We go 2-2.
I do not disagree with anything that you just said. Yeah, Wizards, Lakers, Dubs, Mavs, I can see us losing, being tired, maybe a long game, and going up to play in Dallas, going playing Kyrie and Clay and Luka, of course. That's tough. And then Thunder, as Stu said, just much better than us. 2-2. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's right in the middle. Boom.
I'd love to say we're going to beat the Mavericks, but I think the reason why I say Chris Paul might sit is it's that back-to-back and everything we said about the Lakers game being a big spot, kind of a letdown game, get all amped up for Friday. Then we got to turn around Saturday, try to do the same thing against Western Conference champions. I'm being real. I don't see it
Yeah,
happening.
I could see Wemby sitting too. I could see it be one of those games where we let all the young guys kind of go out there and run, So we do that in big games a lot.
Interesting. Oh, wow. That's really interesting.
Chris and Wemby sitting, yeah.
Pop
and we've already lost to them, once. They're a better team than us. End of a back-to-back, we'll traveled. Not worth it.
And we play. I think probably play them 2 more times. I can see. Yeah, there's a lot of factors in there.
Chris Paul is back up for the next cup game against the Thunder on Tuesday.
Yeah. Chris Paul doesn't want to play against Kyrie. He's like, hell no, I'm not trying to stay in front
of
that.
It's just bad matchups for us. They're a team. We actually match up pretty well against the Lakers, like you are saying. Yeah. If we're going to win any of those 3, I think would be the Lakers. Unfortunately, we don't have Jeremy there to guard LeBron. But just matchup-wise, we do match up decent with the Lakers. But we always talk about it, guards kill us. And, with Kyrie and Luka, and then against OKC with Shea, we're not going to beat them.
That's fair. All right. Well, we'll see, and we'll report back and see how we do this time around. Tim, I wanted to turn it over to you. Do we have any update on the Hawks and
Hawks are bums?
The Hawks are bums. I know we talked about that last podcast. So maybe we make this a recurring theme. Maybe not. We'll see. But it was really fun to hashtag Hops are bums last time. So, Tim, any update on the Hawks
tonight? Tuesday night, they got a huge win at Boston. Without Trae Young, I don't know how they won this game. Celtics, I mean, besides Porzingis,
that's crazy, dude.
For a while, they were fully healthy, so they are currently 5-7, tied for 7th or 8th. They just passed Miami. Miami had a horrible loss tonight. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
Um,
Hope
but
the
you still
yeah.
got teams like Milwaukee and Philly that have started out terribly. So, you know, at some point, hopefully they'll catch them. It looks like they're going to be right around that last play-in spot probably all season. So, yeah, that's what
Trey is out for a while though, right?
I don't know how long. He was out
they
tonight
said.
against Boston, and it's the same injury that he was dealing with last year, his Achilles tendonitis. I mean, it's the same thing that just kept CMC for the 49ers out for 2 months, had to go to Germany for it. So
Ooh.
if this becomes a lingering issue, I don't, again, I'm not a guy to root for injuries. The Hawks are bums, and I hope it stays that way. But honestly, I'd rather see Trey be in the lineup and them continue to lose than him
Yeah.
sit out and get to say, "Oh, well, the Hawks suck because Trey wasn't there." So
Right.
it's the same Achilles, it's tendonitis. He was out today. It doesn't look like it looks like it's kind of week to week right now, so he might be out for extended time. But I think with this tendonitis injury that I've learned from Christian McCaffrey being on my fantasy football bench for the last 2 months, looking into it, is that as soon as that swelling goes down, it's more of a pain tolerance thing. And if he can get ramped back up without a flare up, without a setback, then he's pretty much good to go. I'm hoping for Trey Young's health, but at the same time, I'm hoping that the Hawks are completely lost without him and don't pull off another win like they did tonight against the Celtics.
Tim, do you want to go through and break down these? So the reason, by the way, guys, Spurs Bros, if y'all are novices, we do own the Hawks first round pick completely unprotected. So wherever they land in the draft, we get their draft pick this year. So that's why we're bringing them up. This may be a recurring theme, but also we have other first round picks coming in 2025 NBA draft. So Tim, do you want to go through this little chart that we have as well as far as like who we want to win, when we want them to win, or how much we want them to win? If we're
Shout
Spurs
out
fans,
Josh Paredes, by the way, for
cool.
this graph. If y'all honestly go give Josh Paredes a follow on Twitter, he's going to be updating this, I think weekly, he said. So, got to give credit where credit's due. But
Yeah.
yeah, take us away, Tim.
Yeah, so aside from the Hawks pick, we have the Bulls top 10 protected pick,
Okay.
which that could be realistic unless like when we get closer to the deadline they trade Zach LaVine or Nikola Vucevic. Um, but the East is so bad they can probably stay around that play-in area. Um,
So,
so yeah,
Tim, I'm dumb. We've covered it. I'm dumb. So, what does top 10 protected mean?
so on lottery night, if they are a lottery team, if they if their card comes up in the top 10, they keep their pick. We don't get it. I don't know if it rolls over to next year or it might turn into a couple second round picks, but we need it to be 11, yeah, in the 11 to 14 range, I
Got
guess.
it.
Okay.
Got it.
Or if they were to make playoffs and it's an 18 pick, just anything after
Yeah,
10,
yeah,
right?
anything, yeah, higher than
Yeah.
the 11 pick.
And
Or
is this going back to DeMar trade?
yes,
Got
yes,
it.
that was a part of the DeRozan trade. And the Hornets pick, I feel like this is the third year in a row we've had this pick.
Right.
They're just
probably
going to
not
keep being bad. Yeah, we're never going to get the pick.
It's probably not going to happen again. This pick is lottery protected, so they have to
Absolutely
they
not.
have to be a playoff team to get this pick. So yeah, this is probably not going to happen. But they are, what are they right now?
As
12th
of
or 11th.
Sunday,
They're
yeah.
4 and 7, 11th in the East. Yeah, not great.
Yeah, that's with Ball being healthy too. He'll get an injury at some point this season. He always does.
LaMelo did have that
There's
crazy
no
game
way.
winner the other night, though.
LaMelo's been good to start the season.
Or game tying 3. I don't know if they won that game. They must have lost if they're 4 and 7 now. So sweet. Never mind.
Gosh.
Yes.
So
So
go ahead,
4
Tim.
possible first round picks. I mean, even if we somehow got all 4, we're not going to make all those picks.
Nah.
But more realistically, 2, well, 2 no matter what, and then
Ours and Atlanta's for sure.
maybe a third one, yeah, with Chicago's.
Okay. So to wrap up, we want the Hawks to lose as much as possible because the more they lose, the higher percentage chance that we have get flag. And then if and we want the Bulls to win enough just to land outside of the top 10, which we said could be a possibility. and we want the Hornets to make the playoffs, which we don't know if that'll happen. So we're gonna have two picks at least, and I don't know. And then obviously for us, we're kind of some Spurs fans are on the fence of let's just let it ride one more year and see if we can land in the another top 5, top 8 pick or something in a stacked draft class. And others are saying let's just go for the playoffs now. So interesting. We'll see. We'll see how that turns out. But thanks for the update, Tim. Sounds good.
Anybody that y'all have we were talking about it earlier today. Is there anybody that y'all have your eye on with these picks? Any college or international prospects you guys are looking at would look good in a Spurs jersey? The one that I saw, which is an interesting pick to me. I don't follow college basketball as much as I used to, so I'll have to look into it. But Con Newpel, Duke freshman, he's a wing combo guard forward. Stu, you're a Dookie, but from what I'm reading, he's the best fundamental shooter in this draft class potentially, and he could slot into that 6th pick. So if we're being realistic about where our pick could land, whether it's ours or Atlanta's, that 6th spot for Con Cone, Newpel, Nepple, Knuppel, Nipple. I don't know. Whoever this guy is, he's a good shooter. Could help us out. But who else? Who else are y'all seeing?
Yeah. Yeah, Duke's gonna have like 3 top 15 picks probably. They
Yeah.
also have another really good African center from South Sudan. He's like
Mm.
7'2" athlete, not like a shooter or, a star by any means, like guard skills, but just a big man, get rid of Zach, have him in our backup group. That'd be nice. I really like Ace Bailey. Realistically, though, he's gonna go 1
Yeah.
or 2. So, unless we get super lucky with the lotto balls, our pick or Atlanta's. We probably won't get him, but I just like all the like 3, 4s and tired of our 6'5" guards. We have enough of them. I really want a solid 6'8", 6'9" guy. There's only a few of those with like Cooper, Ace, both projected 1 and 2.
Dude,
You
you
know,
said you mentioned in our
I-
group message Igor.
Igor, he's 6'9". I
Yeah.
think he's been climbing up. I don't know if he was projected top 10
Yeah,
like a couple
so
months ago, but he's projected like 4 right now. That's another one we'd probably have to get lucky and get in that top 5 pick. But he's a 6'9" like guard. He's a Luka-esque, so that'd be pretty dope.
That would be
yeah,
interesting.
from the first ESPN mock draft of the year dropped today, and this is kind of what sparked me to ask about these prospects. But they had us picking at 6 with our own pick and taking Nepal from Duke. I'm gonna say that differently every time until somebody tells me what it is. And then they had the Atlanta pick coming in at 7th, and us taking Igor. Um,
Oof.
Be sick.
so I've got to go do some film work on Igor too, and then they actually had the Chicago pick conveying to us at 11,
Oh
and us
gosh.
taking Drake
That's ideal.
Powell from North Carolina.
Jeez.
So that would be the best possible scenario for that Bulls pick would to land at 11, and yeah, they had us taking Drake Powell, the freshman shooting guard, small forward from North Carolina, who the author of this excerpt compared to Zach LaVine.
Mm.
There was Traore. He's a Frenchie. And then I saw one
Yeah.
earlier. There was another French guy who was projected top 10. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Just obviously the Vic, being with Vic, another French guy, I could definitely see us doing that just to make him feel more at home. And if he's super good, but I didn't really know much about him. Tim, I don't know if you know much more about the other French guy.
I haven't watched much of him, but yeah, we've seen some random rumors about him that the Spurs are interested in. I don't know how true those are, but yeah, he's a name to look out for. And I don't know if their season has started or when it starts, but yeah, I'll definitely keep my eye on. It's Nolan Traore. Yeah,
Yeah, he was always I saw
definitely.
him long time ago, not long time ago, but whenever we started talking about the stacked 2025 draft class, which was I think in 2023 or sometime in 2023, maybe early 2024. He stood out to me like crazy. He just looks like he's got natural point guard, elite point guard skills. But now that we have Stephon, I don't know if we
Yeah, is
go
that what we
there.
really need?
Nobody's talked about VJ Edgecombe, which is really interesting. Plays for Baylor right now. Super crazy, stupid,
Bounce.
bouncy.
Yeah.
But he's 6'4". So, but then
I
again,
know.
if we're being realistic,
Right up old Brian's alley. Jesus.
yeah, get rid of
Dude,
Malachi or somebody,
he
and
Goodness
baptized
gracious.
Mark Few's
Yeah,
kid.
I saw
Oh my God, in
on
the
like
Gonzaga
opening night,
game.
bro. That poor kid.
poor
Puts him
guy.
in garbage time just to get some
Yeah.
run, and he gets deep
Puts his own
edge
son
combs.
in.
Just oh my God, that poster is crazy.
I saw
Oh.
some tweets like Mark feeling amazing, got his son on the floor, and then like 10 seconds in, just got absolutely baptized.
Yeah,
It
dude,
was
they're
so
like
funny.
Mark Few should be put behind bars for doing this to his own son. Child
That's
abuse.
funny, bro.
Oh my God. That was tough. But yeah, if Edgecombe can jump like that, dude, who gives a shit if he's
Yeah,
six
if he's
four?
6'4".
Kid's got bounce.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know. You
I don't
can't
know.
teach athleticism like that,
Well,
but
we all
That
know we're all about who fits the system, though, and all that. We don't want a guy who's full of himself. I don't really know much of these guys, how they play. We just know
yeah.
they're badass, but if they're full of them, we're not going to take them. So we'll have to watch more and see who's, a team player, who's the Stefan, who has the mind game, who could
who
be a Spur.
who I like also. He plays for my alma mater.
Oh
Trey
yeah.
Johnson. I like Trey Johnson a lot so far. I mean, very, very early in
Another
the
guard
season.
too, right?
Six
Yeah. He
six.
went to high school right down the street from my apartment at
Oh,
Lake Highlands High School for in
sick.
Dallas until he transferred out his senior year. But yeah, kid can play.
Yeah, he's got game for sure. He's probably one of the better scorers in the country for sure. So they have him. Where am I at? NBA draft room. They have him at 9 right now, which is interesting. I think he could be top 6. We'll see how that goes. Either way, that's good talk though. That's something to maybe keep in touch throughout the season. Um, yeah, and just see how that progresses, how these players, these college dudes progress over the season. So
I know that we're trying to win games this year, but I figured we're talking about the draft right now. I just hopped on to Tankathon. Um,
share your
First
first
screen.
spin of the year.
But yeah,
first
here.
spin of the year right here.
Share your screen. Share your screen so we can do this.
Okay.
We can all
All right.
see.
All right. Okay, so first spin of the year, I just did the Tankathon first time, got us conveying right here at
Ooh.
12 is our own pick, and then the Atlanta pick coming in at 15 somehow.
Dude.
Okay.
Um, so picking at 12 and 15, and then yeah, showing that Chicago does not convey because they pick at 10, and Charlotte not conveying because they're picking at 9. So that was the first spin of the year. That would be, I don't want to be dramatic, but I'll be dramatic. That would be doomsday
That
scenario,
would
I
that
think,
would
for what we're
suck.
hoping for. Both of these picks do not
Doomsday.
convey. We pick after Dallas at 12 and then not again until 15. That would suck. So
All right. Give me a roll. Give me a roll. Damn, no better.
same thing, 12 and 15.
No, we
Oh,
got a
Oh
long season. We got
shit.
a
The
long
Chicago
season.
picks at number one. I'll do a third one just for the fun of it. Oh my God. 12 and 15
reset.
again.
Reset.
All right.
Oh, it
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Forget that.
All
We're not
right.
doing that ever again.
Yeah.
Just one little shout out to Austin Spurs started their season a couple nights ago. Uh, I don't know if anyone else really cares about this, but I don't watch the games, but I like to look at the box scores. Sometimes I'll watch
That's
the
a true fan right there.
but
So awesome.
you got Harrison Ingram, David Duke, Riley Minix, Malachi Flynn is still a part.
Let's
Uh,
go.
he's on the Austin Spurs. Jamari Bouye, who we waived, he used to be a two-way contract player. And at some point, not yet, I'm sure CD Sissoko will go there. And
Mm.
who else? That might be it. But yeah, they got an opening night win and they lost tonight. Uh,
Mm.
Malachi Flynn played well both games. Harrison Ingram taking a bunch of threes, which I like. I like because if he's gonna ever play for us, he's got to be a 3 and D guy. I
Three and
think.
D. Yeah.
He's never gonna play for us. I
No, no,
watched him. He got in Houston that game I
and
was watching, and oh my God,
yeah,
I
I think
was,
Riley Minix played
I
well his
was,
first couple games too. So yeah, I'll
hell
be
yeah, Riley. Yeah, Riley looked good in Houston, but no, dude, I'm telling you, the game in Houston with Harrison Ingram, I was telling my buddy, I was like, dude, this guy looks like he should be a defensive end in the NFL right now. That dude is thick, long arms. He is built, muscular. He probably got some good get off in a 3-point technique in the NFL, dude, but he does not look like a basketball player. He was warming up, shooting threes, blank. So Harrison Ingram, love you, bud. Welcome to San Antonio, but god dang, you got to get some skills, brother.
Yeah,
The
we can wrap
actual
this up.
Spurs play in Austin in February. If you guys want to try to go to that, tickets are actually not that bad.
That's where I'm at. Come stay with me, folks.
From the Spurs Bros, go Spurs, go.